Happy Saturday, everybody. It's time for some Overwatch League again. That's right. We are here at the Blizzard Arena in LA, California, Doha, at Monte Cristo with you as always for some more great matches. It's going to be a fun one to start things off with. Well, fun for one side anyway. It's going to be London Spitfire versus Washington Justice.
It'll be fun to watch London if they continue to play all those crazy wrecking ball DPS looks that we saw from them yesterday against the XL.
I have nothing but fun all the time. Let's take a look at our season standings right here. London Spitfire still holding on to that 5th place spot for the moment. Pretty good map differential when you compare them to Sparks. They're probably doing pretty well for overall playoffs, but Justice, of course, you're kind of just, I don't know, practicing now, like playing to sort of iron out that roster. Like, what do you do if you're Washington at this stage of the season?
Get new players.
Wow. All right. That is...
I mean, realistically, like, this is a team that needs to make some signings. So somebody's got to give here, at least on the Justice side.
I can't disagree with you. Well, London played a really close and really epic match against New York Excelsior just the other day, and after watching them and watching them switch up their compositions a little bit, do you think we're kind of seeing the London Spitfire of 2018 be sort of unlocked again in this meta?
I mean, I liked that they were experimenting a little bit. It seemed like this is going to be their first week of really trying these multi-DPS compositions. We did see a lot of flipping around. Obviously, Fury impressively flexing onto a lot of DPS heroes. I hope this is what we see going forward, but at the same time, playing Justice in a 3-3 mirror is a great way to beat them, honestly.
Yeah.
So I don't really know if they need to flex onto DPS, and they've got to win against the Justice and the Valiant, I think, if they want to have a shot at the stage playoffs, because that last match against the Shock is going to be very difficult. So these are the matches they need to win if they want to continue to stay in that top 6 for the season and stay in the running here for the stage playoffs as well.
Right, no doubt. And I mean, the thing is, on Washington's side, they have really struggled with first death rates specifically, right? Where they are going to, you know, kind of lose that person early and then you just can't recover from there, right? So they got to focus on being the ones that get the kills earlier in the fights.
I mean, the crazy thing is that after they die first, which they do nearly 62% of the time, their win rate after a first death is 2.4%. And now even the best teams in this league are, you know, the best teams are like 30% win rate after first death, which is about where NYXL is right now.
2.4 though.
Yes, I mean, even mid-table teams are going to be in the 10 to 12% range. So it also couples with the fact that the Justice currently have the worst overall team fight win percentage in the league at 34.3%, which is, it's not great.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's second worst to Boston right now, excuse me, but really far down there.
Well, on that note, let's introduce our first team in this match, the team that won the Overwatch League last season. Let's hear it for the London Spitfire. It is time. Quartermain leading the charge, and the conversation was had on the desk earlier. You know, do you go with this guy or do you go with Nuss? Seems like right now, Quartermain is the pick. What's your take on that?
I think it's a little weird that when London came out yesterday with a lot of Mercy compositions that we didn't see more Nuss, because Nuss was the player that they sort of switched to on the Mercy role last season when they were winning the championship.
Very true.
Because Closer was more of that Lucio player, and Nuss proved better at the Mercy. So I do think it's a little bit odd to have Quartermain in when you are focusing on the Mercy, but we'll have to see if they can bounce back a little bit better today. But again, they can just play 3-3, and I think they'll be fine.
Yeah. That's right. Their opponents, the underdogs in this series. Let's give it up for the Washington Justice. Washington. They're coming. They're coming. They're coming.
I don't know how they're going to do today, though. It's definitely a tough matchup for them. Like, looking at some of their maps, they have been... Their brightest spot has been on defense on some of these hybrid and assault maps, because when they have time to really talk about how they're going to use their ult economy in depth, they can be pretty efficient.
Sure.
The issue is when they're not on hybrid and not on assault, when things have to happen a little bit faster, especially on escort, or when they're attacking, they really tend to fall apart. Their attacks have been very weak. And so we've got to see that ult economy that we know at least at times they can manage pretty well come out in basically every other aspect, every other facet of the game.
But they've got a lot to contend with today, though. One of the main things is going to be Fury over on the London Spitfire side. We know how good this guy is on the Diva, but lately we've seen him break out again, branch out again to other heroes like the Pharah, and talk about somebody that's good at disrupting what the other team is trying to do. He's great at taking multiple heroes and making that happen.
And if he can continue this, Doa, because of his success in the 3-3 meta on the Diva and the fact that he is such a monster in terms of negating ultimates, if he's going to come out and put up these kind of stats on Pharah on the regular, or on the Hanzo, or other heroes that he's playing, also Zarya that he's on sometimes right now when Prophet's over on the Sombra, this is a guy who is going to enter the MVP conversation for the entire season.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's take a look at our map set brought to you by Toyota. Nepal will be the first map, our control map. Then we're going to Paris for Assault. Numbani will be the hybrid map. And finally, Dorado for Escort. So we finish things off in our first series, but we got to go to control first. We got to go to Nepal. And you mentioned this is one of those maps too, where Justice, you know, they're not going to be able to really kind of play to the strengths that they seem to have, which is having more time to set things up. You know, they struggle adapting on the fly, basically.
Yeah, they have had some success on control. Certainly, I think Escort is their worst map type.
Yeah. Oh, I like this, though. A new look for Washington. They're going with the Sombra. They're going with the Roadhog.
Yeah.
From Sleepy. A lot of DPS. Cool.
Yeah, and we have seen Washington actually probably have their most success when Corey's on the Widowmaker.
Yeah.
So it seems like they're playing strength, and they're just going to catch Birdring right away. Janus coming out with the quick halt into Sleepy's hook, so that'll force the Spitfire to back off right away. And, you know, this is one of the reasons why Birdring is going to switch over to the Brigitte now, because London realizes they can just play 3-3 against this, and they're going to be fine.
They knocked him right off the hero. That's how hard they hit him right there. But you're right, Washington. Now they have to contend with one of the better comps in the league. It's going to be the Winston. 3-3. Corey, of course, trying to find those shots on the Widowmaker. He's got the eyes on a Gesture. Ooh, nice shot onto him. Hits a headshot. Forces Gesture to back off a little bit. But London's got time. You know, you're going to try to poke a little bit, build up some ults. Nearly have the nano boost already for Bedosian, too.
And Birdring in a little bit of trouble right here. Does get his shield broken.
Yep.
As he is pushed towards the members of the Justice. Corey trying to take a longer sightline right now. And Otto going to get a pick up on the Gesture.
All right. Yeah, they're having trouble dealing with this far early on. That said, Sleepy is down, though. And so that Roadhog going to take a while to get back to the point. Maybe London has a chance to rush it, but that's a lot of damage from the far to contend with here. Never mind, Fury takes him out, and Janus manages to pull Prophet off the ledge. So Justice equalizing, coming back with a big kill of their own, but now chasing down Ark, and he's in trouble. Birdring finishes him off with the whip shot. And Spitfire in a great spot despite getting ENP to try to take this point. Justice having to back away. That said, though, coordinated Gesture, it's really on them. Fury doing the dance on the point right now, trying to avoid those sniper shots, but he can't avoid the hook, and Justice holds on.
Looking good here, the Washington Justice. Giannis coming back on the wrecking ball, but they don't actually give up control of the point. So they roll out with a composition that does feature Corey on the Widowmaker, his most successful hero so far this year.
Giannis taking the rolling out thing a bit too seriously as he swaps over to the wrecking ball, but hey, if it holds the point, who cares?
Yeah, Otto's still going to be sitting here with the barrage too. Fury got him in the sky last time. Looks like he's not going to get him this time.
Otto does not live through that barrage. That said, his team picking up the slack though with a couple kills. Sleepy pushing people off the ledge. And Gesture, he can't make the jump. He was so close. It was so close, and a hook comes in. Nice Zarya shield to save the honor right there. Bedosian, but it doesn't matter. The point is over. Spitfire not even getting there. That's 100-0 for the Justice.
Coming out with a strong strat based off of Sleepy coming with the Roadhog and getting the pick off first. On to the Soldier 76. So now Washington Justice 1 point away here from taking Nepal.
I love it.
And I think if you're the London Spitfire, you know, one of the ways you don't want to engage the Justice is in Widowmaker duels. That's been, I think, where the Justice have been most successful. You want to force the 3-3 mirror.
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't been good in 3-3, but, you know, as we're kind of seeing the meta start to shift a little bit now, you know, maybe that's an opportunity for Washington to kind of play some styles that they're personally going to be a little bit more comfortable on. They're going for something a bit different here. Corey on the Mei this time.
All right, so they're running a strat that we have often seen on Village this stage, using the Mei wall to divide and conquer on the point. On his Spitfire going to be getting They're a little bit later than the Washington Justice, so they're not going to be in a good position to contest this May. We'll see how they deal with it.
Yeah, you really need to use the Lucio to like speed boost your way in before the May wall goes up, but even then, it's hard to make that happen. You can try coming in from two sides. Maybe they're going to do that, separate Fury from the rest of the team. He's going to get DMAC'd right away. The rest of the team trying to come in from behind, but Birdring already down. Washington ready. That said, Prophet charged up and starting to get those kills. One onto Sleepy, but Washington will not be moved. They'll save children, but not the British.
They're not saving any British children this time.
No.
Just a massacre here, and Spitfire has yet to get any percent on the board. Looks like we are going to see Prophet escape with some of his charge remaining, but not a whole lot. And Spitfire tried to do a double drop down on either side of the point to avoid that, but Fury's still getting caught out.
And Corey getting close to his Blizzard too, so things working out so far for Washington Justice. What are they gonna do? London has Bedoshin on the Ana.
They're going to try and maybe hit a sleep dart here, or at least have the healing in on the point. There's a wall right there. Is going to not catch anybody out.
It can just be so annoying, and it sets up things like you saw Sleepy go for that biotic grenade too. Sometimes you kind of forget that something like coming into the wall is going down, and Corey goes down. Birdring right there. Both Brigitte picking up big kills as Gesture falls as well. Washington Justice a chance to exploit the fact that London doesn't have that main tank right now. Birdring forced out. 53% and counting for the Justice as London have to go back to spawn.
And they thought London they could make it back before the wall cooldown came up again, but they couldn't do it. Now they're going to try and save Bedoshin here. Fury swoops up with the Matrix, and it looks like he's going to be able to get out.
I'm actually shocked that Bedoshin lived through that, man. That was crazy, but maybe I spoke too soon. He's so low. Sleepy going for it. Biotic grenade doesn't quite connect. Yanu's pushing forward, been doing a pretty good job before he got slept of sticking with his team.
The nano boost denied there by the London Spitfire. They disengaged by booping him back and then slept him. So 1-0 down. Now Washington Justice have to retake, but they're going to cut off the healing. Graviton Surge is down for both teams.
Yeah, but the shield's up on the Reinhardts on both sides as well. That said, Sleepy is down, so London has the 6v5 right now, and they're going to keep this point. Justice are going to need to find a way to push in again and retake.
Yeah, they're going to get chased down here, too. Looks like no one else is going to get staggered. They have a Blizzard.
Yeah.
To work their way back onto the point right now. Fury has an opportunity to deny that ultimate with the defense matrix.
Yeah, if anybody's going to take that one away, it's going to be Fury. He leads the league in ultimates devoured by the defense matrix right now.
Sound barrier going to be really important coming up for Quartermain.
Here we go. Washington trying to find a way to get in here. And the Gesture too with the Fire Strike. All right, now we got to bring that back, the Fire Strike kill stat. That's why, because you got people out there like Gesture getting 2 with 1.
The 2-for-1 right there.
See it, most important stat in the league.
Yeah, you can tell they're just playing aggressively because they don't want to get caught flat-footed on the point.
Yeah.
When the Blizzard comes down, they're well aware that ultimate is available. And this is where the Justice struggle. When they're trying to retake, when they're trying to go on the attack, that's where things fall apart for them.
Pretty much. They've been holding on to that Blizzard for a long time, too. They got to put it to use, otherwise that Mapex is doing nothing, and he gets slipped. Luckily, he wakes up right away again. Tries to get to freeze under Birdring. Ooh, that was interesting. They're going to try to force him back into it? No, he walls people off from his own Blizzard. Interesting. All right. Janus's Earth Shatter not getting a whole lot. Now the grab comes in to catch Auto in it. But the Maywall there to deny a little bit of the damage anyway. But now the Shatter comes through, does not hit anyone though. Maywall coming up big that time for Washington, but they have to try to take it back. It's 99% for London right now. Sound Barrier comes in, keeps everybody up for the moment anyway. And now with Sansum down, Washington has a chance. Prophet getting the kills. And London look like they're gonna be able to tie things up here on Nepal. There goes Corey, and yeah, that Mace Strap, you know, it works until you have to retake.
Yep.
Then you see how difficult it is to make that follow through.
And it's not just the Washington Justice when we talk about the retake, it's retaking with the May.
Yeah.
May is an awesome hero, and it's also that composition. When you have the nano boost, easier to hold than to retake because they have to play into you if you're having the nano boost. They have to walk into your Reinhardt to contest the point. Otherwise, you can sort of fall back and come back in before the point caps the other direction. So this has been, the composition is also a huge issue on that retake. Very, very hard if you're running May, Rein, Ana to contest the point the other direction.
I mean, we've seen other teams in the league be in that situation countless times, right? You can include Faracomps in that too, where when you're on the outside looking in, sometimes it's hard to make those defensive comps retake successfully. We're going to Shrine for the final round here on Nepal. Justice would really love to start this series out with a map win. We'll see if they can do that. Going with the Sombra 3-3, or the 3-2-1, I guess we should say now.
We'll see where the flanks come in here. Corey going to be playing the Sombra, and Otto actually. Bedoshin just picked off in the backline, long range there.
It's a sniping Sombra coming out from Corey, apparently.
Yeah, he gets a lot of EMP percentage too, so London really not paying attention. Now that's going to prompt the swap immediately over to the Ana.
Yep, of course. Yeah, if there's no diva on the Washington side, you can get those biotic grenades in there. The sleep darts are not going to be opposed.
Yeah, the downside is that you don't have the Transcendence for the EMP. So it is a trade-off. You have to play more aggressively with the Nano Boost, but it's definitely an option for them right now. Corey, though, he's getting very close, and it looked like they were not expecting him to be on that hero.
Trying to get a hack off onto Gesture, but not going to happen. That's okay. He's dead. You don't need to hack him if he's dead. That's fine. London Spitfire having to back away again as they lose Bird Ring as well. Fury gonna avoid the hack with the Zarya shield. No, he's not. Corey chases him down with the translocator. Chases him away. They don't get the exit DMAC, but hey, you're gonna be happy with that if you're Washington.
I mean, Washington's gotten 35%. They haven't even had to use an ultimate yet. London Spitfire straight up losing these poke wars.
Yeah.
And now they're gonna try and come back again. They need to pay attention to Corey, as he is going to be lurking around their flanks with the EMP. This is a chance for Washington to 100-0 them, honestly. This is really good that if they can use EMP successfully.
Here we go, EMP comes in, it's 4 members. Prophet and Fury escape it, but Gesture not so lucky. And London already losing their main tank. Corey getting a bit more aggressive, but the job has been done. The EMP, good enough.
Well, we're in a situation where we're 60% of the way into the fight, though, and it's been one ult used by the Justice, really, the EMP.
Yeah.
And now you've got everything else for this last 30%, so...
You should.
You know, we talked about Justice's ult economy being one of their bright spots at times, and we'll see if it can hold true here.
Otto with the grab. If he can get off a good one, that could be the round. Gonna do that. Gesture a little bit low, gets a Zarya shield, and now the Transcendence comes in. London trying to hold on. Gesture hacked right as he gets his Earth Shatter. The hack is gonna wear out. He's gonna have a chance to use this. Janus needs to be ready for the Shatter. Oh, it goes in. Janus gets hit himself with it, and he's gonna go down. The hack not lasting long enough for them to finish off Gesture, and London flips the point.
Yeah, Corey doesn't get a lot of EMP charge either, so a lot of ults used by both sides.
Yeah.
Quartermain, though, he's going to be coming in with his sound barriers. They do have a tool here, Arc already with his, so we're back sort of resetting our entire ult economy right now, Doa.
I mean, the nice thing with Washington's comp is that you're going to have that EMP pretty quick a lot of times. That's always going to be a tool you can use to just straight up win a fight. EMP is just like a fight winner. You know, not a lot of ultimates can just do that. But
I mean, I think few people would say that it isn't the best ultimate in the game.
Yeah, I think it's hard to argue against that. Rally's pretty good though, as we've recently found out. London Spitfire though. Gotta make up some time. Oh, killing Corey, that certainly helps, and
that's huge.
That's what Fury's gonna be great at too. He's so good at chasing down those Sombras, making it really hard for them to get in there, build EMP charge. Corey will have the EMP for next fight, but London already up to 50%.
Yeah, it gets you within sort of that one fight range though. That's the thing right now, is you have that EMP, sure, but you've got to recollect yourselves, get back to the point by the time you're there at 65%. And maybe you could trickle back into the point after this one, but how long do they want to poke for? Do they want to wait for the Transcendence, the Justice?
I think you go for it, man.
I mean, they're sort of stalling out right now as Corey looks for that opening. You can see Quartermain is on the top right now. He knows he needs to stop this sound barrier, but he can't do it in time.
Oh, Gesture down though. Bedoshin used the nano boost. It didn't end up saving them too much. Fury gets a DMAC'd anyway, and now Otto rolling in with 90% charge. Washington might have done it. They're gonna win this fight, and they're at 99%. If they can just clear out the final members of Spitfire, if they can weather this Graviton Surge, they can win this map. Gesture back again. All right, Quartermain goes down. He tried to keep the point alive, and he paid for it with his life. And there's a Shatter from Janus. Got a little bit blocked, but he blocks the Shatter from Gesture in return. London just scrambling. Nobody gets taken out by that self-destruct. That's Big Prophet back on the Doomfist, but it's a last-ditch effort for London, and they can't do it. Washington will take the first map in this series.
Few really nice rounds for the Justice right there. Well played.
Yeah.
Finishing out that point. So Washington will go up 1-0 so far in this series.
All right, you know, it's about that time in the stage. We can use a good upset. We'll see if Washington can extend the lead when we come back.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Philly desperate, but there goes Poco, and London Spitfire have done it! They will fly high as your Overwatch League champions!
History has been captured by the London Spitfire, our Stage 1 champions on top of the world. In the second half of the season, they couldn't even win 50% of their games. They had to cut half their roster to focus on their core, but it certainly worked, and they will be our inaugural champions.
Well, a glimpse back to better times for the London Spitfire. That's right. Make sure you go vote for the London Spitfire for this year's ESPY Awards. That's right. That moment's been nominated for an ESPY. Pretty cool. Twitter.com/ESPN_esports. Starting on June 24th.
Which is Monday. You may start your voting there. So it
Happy
should
Monday.
be, you know, you never know when London's going to come back, though. They had a roller coaster season.
Yeah. Oh,
Started
no doubt.
on top, ended on top. The middle was kind of dire, honestly. But some meta shifts and also just clicking at the right time, cutting a bunch of their players to just focus on the synergy of their starting lineup. All of these things worked very well for them. But they don't have anybody to cut right now, really.
No, not at the moment. So they dropped the first map to Washington Justice. We'll see if they can equalize, see if they can tie this series up again here on Paris, our assault map. Washington, though, I gotta say, you know, playing pretty solid Overwatch in that first map.
Yeah, and they've been able to snag wins, control wins off of good teams before. So showing that they still have that threat that they must be taken seriously. And London, they came off a late match last night against the NYXL and had to play first thing again this morning. So not a lot of time to prepare for this Washington Justice team, but also the Justice, you know, they're running with a bunch of stuff, new stuff as well. So.
I mean, to be frank, when you're doing your prep for the week, you know, which team are you going to prep
exactly.
more for, right? New York or Washington Justice. So, you know, they may be coming into this a little bit underprepared.
Yep, well, that's the stuff that trap games are made of, Noah.
It certainly is. And that's right. I mean, London sometimes, you think about one of the, you know, quote-unquote top teams of the league, and which one of those could drop a game to one of the bottom teams of the league, and I think London would be on that list.
Yeah, London did win on Paris yesterday against the NYXL, though. So.
They did. They are 3-0 on this map right now.
Prophet also, you know, he's on the Sombra now. Is there anything this guy can't play?
No, there's not. I bet if he had the powers, he could even like bring heroes in from other games, just make them work in Overwatch too, you know? He's a great Donkey Kong, I've heard, you know?
He's an exceptionally flexible player.
That's right.
Pretty safe composition here for the Spitfire. Just running the Sombra composition with the Winston. Jester's been hacked.
Whoa,
that could be big. And
Nice shot on the corner main, that's one. Washington Justice getting that first tick and getting the kills to finish it off. This might be a real quick point A.
That's great from the Justice, just chunking out.
Yeah.
Members of the London Spitfire. You saw the health pack, the Brigida armor pack have to go down onto Fury. That meant quarter main was vulnerable. So good patient push there from the Justice, who are looking pretty good today.
That's right. Somebody go back to that other building at point A and tell the police there's been a murder. Spitfire taken out wholesale on point A.
Yeah, Impresight now gonna buy them some space. Look at Sansam too, he's kept up in terms of EMP charge with Prophet. So a chance here to snowball very hard on Paris.
Yep, but please don't shoot the paintings. Otto, getting close to that barrage too. Having just a second here, Gesture in a little bit of trouble, has to retreat to the bubble, man. Meanwhile, Giannis did get hacked, so that did slow things down for Washington a bit, but now Sansam coming back with that EMP. Prophet's got his as well. Sansam, see if he decides to go for it here. There's the EMP. It's a few members of London, but Corey and Otto go down. Otto finishing himself off in the end, and it's kind of looking like Washington's going to have to go back to the drawing board here.
So the issue there, Joe, was that Gesture had already jumped in and been nanoed, and even though he was hacked right there, he had already closed the gap on the Justice. So able to get into those back lines with the nano boost already on him. Gets that extra survivability. He's going to switch to Reinhardt now.
Well, they're going to swap on Washington too. Sansam picking up the Brigida and giving the Sombra over to Corey here, which makes a bit more sense if you know those players' hero pools. They want to get that Brigida work back in there too, looks like.
Yeah, and especially they want the Brigida back because they know Prophet still has the EMP. London, on the other hand, they'll give up the Primal Rage because they can cycle their ultimates against this EMP.
That's an EMP. It's 5 people, everybody, but Corey, Otto, and Sansam down instantly. And, well, doesn't get much more easy than that, does it?
Nope, sure doesn't. But that's exactly what you wanted, Gesture. Already at 50% of an Earth Shatter off of that one fight. Because he was able to close the gap, they'll at least have a sound barrier coming into this next engagement. Justice not going to have a whole lot other than that nano boost, and they don't have great gap closers here. To use the nano boost on Prophet also, he's going to farm a small amount of EMP.
It's an interesting stat too, that Padoshan dying earlier than all the other Anos in the league right now. So London, maybe a note there for them to protect their flex support a bit better.
And it's not like he's playing super aggressively either. He's playing pretty far back at all times.
Yeah, but I mean that Ana, that's one of the reasons that you don't see her played as much is because she's easy to die. You know, if you don't land that sleep dart, you're usually dead unless your team comes to help you out. Here we go, sleep nano boost rather coming in onto Janus. Washington pushing in. There's a shatter. They get Bird Ring. All right, Brigida out of the way. 65 now goes for the charge onto Gesture, and he's down. He had the nano boost on him too, so that's another ultimate out of the way for Justice as they try to take point B. You can see London giving them some ground now, but Corey's got that EMP for when the respawns come in. He's gonna go there. There's the EMP. London gets the sound barrier off anyway, though. So Washington having to be a bit careful here. There's the exit. Otto out. Oh man, if they would have gotten quarter main, that could have been it. That could have been point B.
Yeah, it definitely could have been. They're still going to try and chase down people here to stagger kills on the exit. And 2 ticks taken, so Justice able to nearly get to the end of Paris right here. With 3.5 minutes left, 1 tick shouldn't be too difficult.
See Pertering looking around for that Sombra.
Yeah, the great thing about continuing to run the Sombra now for the Justice is that you know, you have that EMP, and because you only need 1 tick, you can play aggressively on the point, and they're going to have to contest, so they can't just hide behind pillars.
Yeah.
While they wait for the EMP to come out. It does make you a more vulnerable target when you are forced to contest.
Fury with the aggressive grab. Now the grab comes in from Washington as well. Both teams trying to stay up. Murdering a little bit trapped. We got rallies going for both teams as well. Sound barrier though for the London Spitfire. Arc uses his as well. But no, that sound barrier was for Justice actually. Fury down. Justice only need that 1 tick to finish it. Oh, but Gesture takes Sleepy off the edge. Otto finishes him.
I don't know if they should have pursued that kill onto Gesture. They could have gone straight to the point.
That's
instead.
the thing.
They gave an opportunity for Fury to res.
Now the respawns are going to come in too.
I think they should have just rushed the point.
Well, Washington gonna have to give that one up. Maybe another opportunity missed. They've still got 2.5 minutes, but it's gonna be more time off the time bank now.
Wow, that was weird, because Gesture had charged away and had the nano boost on him. There's no need to turn and finish him. When you can start to contest the point instead, you have the EMP. Fury was going to have to walk back onto the point. Instead, that also gave Gesture time to respawn.
And now Prophet's got the EMP.
I mean, how do you walk? You should know Prophet. He's in the exact same position he was on the last EMP.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Washington, you're going to be watching this match later and you'll be like, ah, okay. You have to watch that next time. Because there it is, another EMP coming in. Corey uses his as well, but Prophet down. Corey got a 6-man EMP, actually. But London, the first team with the kills, and now they're going to just keep chasing. Sansum gets EMP. Janus not going to live through this one. He's down like 10 health. What? They're keeping him alive, but Washington backing away anyway.
I mean, Prophet's still getting more EMP
Yeah.
charge after using it in that fight as well. They don't have to commit anything else. So London Spitfire now with a pretty good ult advantage. Washington was just trying to eco push right there because all they had was the EMP. But the way to eco push with an EMP, you want to use EMP and then the rest of your ults on the next push and alternate them.
Sure.
So they could have used it more aggressively to charge the remainder of their ults.
All right, Nana boost onto Gesture here. Otto trying to go in for the kills there, but he gets killed after taking down Birdring. London again ahead when it comes to final blows in this fight, and now we're down to a minute remaining for the Justice. They were so close, 89%. But it's looking like it's going to be very tough for them to finish it off at this point.
I mean, the enemy of the Washington Justice is really themselves. They play so passively at times. Like, they commit to these neutral fights, it seems like forever.
Yeah.
Instead of just trying to force plays or force an objective.
Well, you go back to that, eco push. During that push, they did get a 6-man EMP. Like, that's something that you should be able to take advantage of. Most teams in the league would be. But Washington just kind of being a bit too timid.
Will.
Try and come in right now. Graviton Surge here.
Another EMP incoming.
Nice.
Wait for it, man.
Nice shatter, though, by Janus. That prevents the follow-up.
Yeah, but Prophet behind everybody again. Another EMP comes in.
He canceled it!
He didn't cancel it at the same time. No.
Whoa.
The shield came out. It was
so close.
I thought maybe it was going to be 2, but no, the shields came in, so Washington can keep this push going.
Wow, I'm shocked he got that sound barrier down.
All right, there's the EMP. Washington can get aggressive now. Decent bio grenade for the moment, but again, they're not following up on any of this stuff. The kills aren't coming in. Quartermain, though, goes down. Maybe Washington can turn this into something now. That shatter got mostly blocked. Sleepy hit the deck, but is protected by his team. Arc hacked a little bit as he fights with Prophet. Janus there to try to support him. Gesture and Prophet down. Looks like Washington gonna be able to brawl this one out in the end. And at the very last moment, they do get that second point, but probably should have gotten it like 2 or 3 times before that.
Yeah, if they hadn't gotten that sound barrier, the hack was incoming.
Yeah.
From Prophet. Could have been very different. Justice, though, they do push through, but it is in overtime for the Justice.
Gonna be London on the attack when we come back.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
My ultimate is charged. My EMP is charged. Securing the objective. My ultimate.
You're powered up. Get in there. We're leaving to win.
Alright, let's report Otto. He's on my hero. Okay, I'm reporting Otto.
You see you wipe.
Yeah. You're on my wife. Get off. Otto, look. Gameplay sabotage. Otto is trolling my game.
Really?
He won't switch off of Widowmaker when our strategy is Corey on Widowmaker.
Thanks, man.
Send report. All right.
He'll be banned tomorrow, Corey. Don't worry. Thanks, man. No problem. I got you, man. I'm your white knight.
Won't switch off a Widowmaker. I felt like reporting Bren for that sometimes too, but I know how you feel, Sleepy.
Well, Brent carried us, so I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, but you were there for those practice matches too, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, good start here for Washington after taking the control map. Did struggle again on attack on assault, but expected. One interesting thing is Arc is actually leading all Lucios this stage with deaths per 10 minutes. So he is the lowest dying Lucio at 1.8 deaths per 10 minutes. That is so close. It looked like he landed on the plant, like the pot out there, because I think if he had to go all the way to the ground, he would have been hacked. It was weird.
The elite tech move, land on the plant. He saw that he saw that hack was coming in. He's like, I gotta adjust, land on the plant, get that half meter quicker. Sound barrier, that's some pro plays right there, man. London Spitfire, if you're looking for the early shot, but I think they're gonna make some swaps here.
No, they're just scouting right now with Profit. They are going to see just some Sombra goats here from the Washington Justice.
Yep, usual. And Washington was so frustrating to watch that last round because they had so many opportunities. They could have taken that point like 2 or 3 times earlier than that, and they just didn't. You know, they didn't have that aggression. They need to believe in themselves. They need the confidence.
Is that it?
You know, I think so.
They should ask the Outlaws for some tips on restoring belief in themselves.
You need like a Space Jam situation, right? Where it's like you give them like the magic potion or whatever, but then they find out that the true skill was in there all the time. The potion wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's true. We'll see.
I mean, I don't know. I think in a different meta, could be a little bit different. Sleepy, or Corey rather, a little bit trapped there between a rocket and a rocket place. It's rough. Bergering pushing forward here too. Washington trying to do it. 5v6. Corey running back now, but he's still behind an EMP charge. Whoa, Arc. Don't walk into Bergering like that. Otto gets a kill on Bergering though, so it's not over yet. Hard to take the point with just Pharah, but Washington has lost a few people here already.
Yeah, they have, and it's just a ground-based crew, and they get the resurrection too.
Yep.
So this should be it.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, Yana's back, but he's kind of trapped in that room. He's on his own. It's only Otto nearby with the. Oh, never mind. Never mind. All right, well.
Took a rocket to the dome.
This is what the DPS comp is supposed to do. You poke people off of the point. Eventually, you get a pick, and you sort of slowly win through man advantage.
Yep. That's exactly it.
How it works.
And resurrection advantage too, that you usually have running that Mercy.
Yeah.
So, as I was saying, Arc leading the league in fewest deaths per 10 minutes on Lucio right now, and he didn't die at all that last attack run, and now he has only died 1 time. And part of it has been he's been playing really far back. In fact, I would argue Arc has not been taking enough risks. But he did get the sound barrier down this time. I think that has been an issue, like being too far away or too slow on the sound barriers.
That's an interesting point to note because we're in a meta where the Lucios kind of need to be aggressive and need to be the ones making plays, you know?
Yeah.
Peeling off the tanks and the rest of their teams and stuff. Fury gets a nano boost after everybody gets out of range of the barrage. That's a bit tragic, but he's still going to pick up a couple kills in the end anyway. Oh, is he? He gets hacked, but his teammates come through. Dragon Strike used and Profit the one. Getting the finishing blows. London Spitfire with 2 ticks already, and now it's only the respawns to handle. It's going to be a little bit of a May delay for Washington. Sansom swapping over to that one. All right, Prophet still gets the hack onto Giannis in the end anyway. Bedosian down, Gesture with a kill on that minefield here. Washington starting to kind of hold on a little bit.
Yeah, good hold from the Justice. Looks like they are going to hold this time, and they're going to force a comp swap most likely from the London Spitfire. All their ults are down.
Yeah.
You got 2 ticks, about the same as the Justice did in their initial attack on their round, but now it's time for goats.
I think so, yep. See that Tracer? You swap to the Brigida, or maybe you don't. There we go, yeah, Bergering. Now over on the Brigida. Yeah, and of course, Washington knows this is going to happen, so they're going to swap back to the Sombra with the 3-2-1.
Yep, and now we're entering into a space where Justice can play aggressively with a sound barrier. This is where you really want Arc to play aggro, because you have that support ultimate advantage coming into this fight, and you know that. You know that.
Look how far back he is, though.
Yeah, you want to go super aggro here as soon as they commit to the point, or even beforehand. Like, you can run at them with a speed boost, but the problem is Arc when he plays this far back, he's never there with his team on the speed boost. And Prophet definitely does not have an EMP, and they should know that.
Yeah. You got to be up there on the walls getting boops right now, man. Nobody's getting a benefit from you being back there. Yeah, you get your sound barrier, but that's all you're doing.
Well, you can't speed boost, right? You can't close the gap to use it.
Yeah, exactly. Prophet gets slept there, but he manages to live. Gesture gets hacked, but he manages to live.
It's a nice anti-heal onto Otto right now.
Yep.
To open up some space. Prophet now getting closer to that EMP.
Yeah, he's going to toss in the middle of that team as soon as he gets it too. There we go. See, what I tell you, EMP comes in, it's 4 people. Arc though. Oh, well then. Sometimes you just aren't on the point.
There you go. There's a classic Charlie Niner for you,
Yeah.
Gotta stay on the point. As it turns out, you can't be too afraid of the EMP.
So London's like, that's what it looks like from the other side. Ah, okay. Quick break, and when we come back, it's Time Bank. All right, well, 3:30 in the time bank for London, and they only need the first stick on point A. Let's see how that last round ended up, because it was a little bit bizarre. Washington just didn't get on the point as London was finishing that last tick. Look at that, they're all there. All right.
Here comes the EMP.
Yeah, Giannis just stays on the edge. They booped him away a little bit, but then he just didn't walk back on it.
Yeah, they had nobody in position. But
all right.
The Justice, look how long they were waiting to use that sound barrier.
Yeah.
Remember, this started when Prophet had 60% of an EMP. Your ult tracking at the professional level must be better than that. You must know that you can play aggressively with speed boost and sound barrier in that situation, because they're not going to have EMP.
Also,
like you just sit there and let things happen to you. It's the Washington Justice in a nutshell.
Also, I think it's just better to play aggressive and lose than to play passive and lose, because at least if you're playing aggressive and you're losing those fights, you're learning something. If you're playing passive, you're just literally sitting back there and watching them take the point.
The explanation is they thought the EMP was up. That's the explanation that we have.
I guess, but you got to put your toe over the line a little bit, you know?
Well, you should have better ult tracking. I'm serious.
Giannis gets skill into Bedosian. So Washington getting a few early on. Spitfire going for that DPS look again.
Yeah, Birdring died early, so the entire fight falls apart.
You know, Washington could still play for the draw here, of course. That's their goal.
The question is London. So they didn't scout this time, and so they thought that Justice would be running the same composition. But this time they're not running the Reinhardt. So with the Winston, you don't want to run that many DPS, and now they're going to switch back to the Sombra with the Reinhardt and the Zarya, and that makes a lot more sense.
Good adaptation.
Yeah, this is the good adaptation you want, but it's just weird. London lazy. They should have scouted there to start things off.
I suppose. I mean, they've got 2 minutes left, so they've still got time to build ultimates with this comp. It's a good anti-heal, actually, on London. That delayed them a little bit here. Birdring and Quartermain got hit by that one.
Giannis got so much ult charge already, though, that it's going to be really disruptive. He's going to have a chance to peel them apart before they can come out.
All right, Nano Boost used on the Fury, I believe. Now Corey comes in with the EMP and Gesture down already. Giannis chasing people down. He's got that Primal Rage. Not even going to need to use it, though.
Yeah, that's the reset. When you see the Nano Boost and the EMP come out and Spitfire already have an EMP, you're like, all right, we'll take the next fight. Thank you very much.
Yep. Birdring. Nice delayed exit kill by Washington there, and suddenly London Spitfire have to be sweating a little bit here. 120 on the clock.
Yeah, Justice have to position exceptionally well right now, so they can't afford Giannis to get hit by this with the Primal Rage. They have a Graviton Surge, and they have no sound barrier, so they need to be very, very careful right now. You can see everybody flanking out, spreading out. Good job by the Justice.
Ooh,
the
there we
sleep!
go. Ha! Prophet gets left. Oh, but they can't get the kill. Bedosian and Quartermain go down instead. You're going to be happy with that. All right, Prophet not really getting a chance to use his EMP either way.
It's getting dangerous for London, Doa.
Really is.
Like, Corey has another EMP right now. They haven't been able to use the EMP. Really good Graviton Surge by Otto,
you know,
catching them out.
And we did talk about how Washington can be better on these defensive holds sometimes. This is really, you know, if you want to talk about where Washington is at their best, it's situations like this.
Absolutely. Washington putting on a much better show today than we've seen so far in their stage 3. Corey, he's waiting for that approach. Another great sleep dart.
Yeah.
And now the bio grenade. Sleepy crushing it on this attack on the sleep darts.
Yeah, well, we know he's been a great flex support. He took about 10-15 seconds off the clock just by doing that. Now the EMP comes in, 3 members of Washington in. They get the sound barrier anyway. All right, grab used as well. Washington playing it safe here. London Spitfire with that Earth Shatter still. Oh, Giannis gets a kill to Bedosian though, and now he's got the Primal Rage. Shatter comes in, it's a big one from Gesture, but London need more. Giannis needs some environmental kills. He knocked Gesture off. He got 1, he knocked 2 off.
3!
Giannis,
He
what
got
a play!
3!
Saving the map for the Washington Justice. What a hero. Giannis makes it happen, and that's a draw.
Great play by Giannis. It was the timing. Sleepy, nano boost. He gets the elimination onto the support. Then he pops the primal, and then he gets all the knockoffs. Great play by Giannis to end the map. And Quartermain, he was waiting that entire push for a sound barrier. He got it at the very end, but it doesn't matter because they go straight into the drink.
All right, this is an interesting one. Don't go anywhere, guys. Halftime coming up.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
The Justice were in the deep end, but they seem to be swimming just fine. Welcome back, everybody. It's Bucket alongside. We've got Josh and Uber today joining us for halftime. And it's the Justice just one map away from taking the series against the London Spitfire. Last matchup in Stage 1 went to a Game 5. We can see this one all wrapped up in Game 3.
It's a difficult situation for the London Spitfire because they've just come off their game against the New York, but Justice have definitely stepped up. They look happy, they look confident, they've brought out some really interesting strats. They're definitely winning this game.
These role switch-ups are really big. You know, there was a bit of funny stuff during the break about Ardo, you know, playing that Zai. He looks great. The Sombra inclusion, I think, is a really important evolutionary step for this team.
Let's talk about our first map. We went, of course, to Nepal. And right away, you saw some new looks from the Justice, including Sleepy running the Roadhog. We had a little bit of a Sombra coming out and Corey on the Widowmaker.
Definitely a specialist strategy that they've worked on, particularly against the London Spitfire. It works very well against the Winston triple tank, triple support, which is what London tend to run on Nepal Sanctum. And Washington Justice, they've had that time to prep for the team. This is a new comp for Washington. Even if London had the time to prep, they wouldn't have known that this was coming out. And Sleepy and Corey in particular really impressed me.
Well, all they had to do was watch Sleepy's stream. Even the title is I play Ana and flex the Roadhog all the time. That's kind of what he does. I like the catch-22 that Corey provides with a May here. He turns this point into a choke. He forces the Spitfire to play close together so they don't get cut apart, and then Blizzard affects him really nastily. And then we saw the Sombra come back out for Corey here at the end. This was a completely fairly won map for the Justice, and you've just got to rate their ult economy was mentioned by Monty. It's a good point. That's definitely one of their bright spots.
Josh, speaking of the alt economy, we saw a special moment in that second map where Ark, he pulled off something insane. Walk us through it. What did he show us?
This was a truly incredible moment from the Washington Justice, which helped them draw on Paris. So my Stay Farm ult economy is going to break down this play. Let's take a look. Prophet's got his EMP, Ark's got his sound barrier. Classic scenario. So Prophet's going to try and EMP everybody else, then hack the Lucio. Prophet plays this perfectly. Gets the EMP. He knows the cast time is faster of the hack than it is of the sound barrier. So as long as he hacks instantly, Ark should be hacked. How did Ark get his sound barrier off here? Well, let's take a look. Ark hides, he's just outside EMP range, so he's playing it as close as he possibly can. And he's gonna sound barrier on this little ledge. So he's higher up off the ground, so the cast time is reduced. So as he jumps up in the air, he doesn't have to touch the ground, he hits that ledge, and he's able to get the sound barrier off milliseconds before he gets hacked. Unbelievable play from Ark to be able to get that. If he hadn't hit that, I think we're looking at a 1-1 half.
That's like finishing your homework as you're handing it up to the teacher, right? If he doesn't hit that ledge, it's all over for them there.
So
massive play there from Ark, kept Washington in the game. And as you saw in the highlights here, guys, this is now a drawn match. If you look back at that map too, what do you want to see more from, if anything, from Paris in the second half?
I think I want to see more Sombra coming out from Corey. I think it's been a decent look for them going forwards, and they need to make sure that they're executing it fairly cleanly. We are still seeing mistakes creep into the Washington Justice's game like we've been seeing the whole time, but they still look way more coordinated than we have done in the past. And London are struggling with it.
This support line from the Washington Justice is dominating pretty much in every aspect in the support sense. Quartermain's had some good sound barriers, but Sleepy got a really important sleep dart actually on towards Prophet Sombra towards the end, of that extra innings of Paris. That was where the map was. Giannis here with some impressive play, but really it was the fight before that that kind of put the nail in the coffin and secured the draw.
We're in a position that I don't think anyone predicted coming into the day, so I have to ask you, gentlemen, how does this match play out? We have at least 2 more maps to go. London could lock it up with winning the next 2. Washington could win this all with just 1 more map win. Who takes the victory?
I think it all comes down to map 3, right? Because unless London force a draw or get a win, they're done. And so I think with London having the time in the half, they're going to be able to come back out and consider what have they gone through, how to approach it. I still feel confident in London Spitfire. This also happened last time. Last time they had a terrible first half, came out and destroyed in the second.
Yeah, this generally happens on those first 2 maps for the Spitfire. Once we head to the more payload-centric base map, the hybrid, of course, and the escort, we should see a little bit more from the London Spitfire. It's also a map type where Washington has shown a little bit of reluctance to be aggressive, and sometimes they just let the pace get dictated to them instead of dictating themselves. That's definitely something to keep an eye on here, is just the psychology of their movements.
All right, Blizzard Arena, make some noise if you're enjoying the game so far today. This is just match 1 of 4. We find out, can Washington lock it up? They got a chance on Numbani coming up next.
And when it comes to in-game communication, if they say some words in Korean, I understand like some of them that have to do with the enemy or some abilities or something like that.
처음부터 게임 많이 하고 서로 이제 얘기도 이제 영어로 많이 하려고 하다 보니까 언제부턴가 이제 좀 자연스럽게 친해지게 된 것 같아요. 이미 많이 친해요.
Огонь по готовности! Been here all along.
Огонь по готовности. That's not right.
Сколько привет?
Welcome back, guys, to a match with results so far that I don't think a lot of people were expecting. Right now, Washington Justice has the lead with a 1-0 score. It was a draw on Assault. It was a win for Washington on Control. And now we go to Hybrid. But before we do, let's do a little bit of tank comparing. How about it?
All right. Jester, Giannis, as Winston. Jester, tragically terrible this match on Winston.
Wow.
Giannis doing pretty well. Environmental kills 3. I was told by Captain Planet that Giannis has 7 environmental kills this season. 3 were on that one play.
Nice.
So
almost doubling it.
Almost doubling it.
All right.
One play.
Well, I mean, so far so good for Giannis on the Winston in this series.
I mean, a lot of it, though, was that we didn't see the proper scouting. On London's first attack, they rolled out, did the scouting, adjusted their composition. They assumed that, you know, we would see the Justice doing the same thing again. This time they intelligently swapped up to the Winston, and then they roll out with a multi-DPS comp. Bird Ring gets stomped into the ground, and then the EMP charge goes in the Justice's favor, and they make a few clutch plays, especially Sleep Darts from Sleepy, and of course that big environmental kill play by Giannis, and that means they get the draw. So Justice now in the driver's seat. Just one map win is all they need to take this series.
Yeah, so the pressure's on, but they've got the roadmap. I feel like what they've been doing today has been working overall. They're good on the defense. Curious to see who's starting what role here. It looks like Washington's going to be starting as the attacker on Numbani. Gonna set the pace. Spitfire 1-1-1 on this map. Justice 1-2. So it's not the greatest results for either team. We'll see what Washington can do with this DPS comp.
Yeah, and this should be expected by the London Spitfire, but they are running the Reinhardt, so looks like they're not playing for a point 1 hold or a point A hold here.
Well, it's going to be a lot on Fedoshin to try to contest that Pharah. He's really the only one who can on his team. In theory, he can harass a little bit, but
My ultimate is charging.
otherwise, those rockets are going to come in pretty unopposed. All right, one tick taken already by Washington. London needs to go back in. There's Quartermain down. Corey finds a pick already. And it's a 6v5 right out of the gates. Make it a 6v4. Fedoshin down as well. And it's a great start for Washington. This is point A. They pretty much got it locked up.
Yeah, they do, but this is to be expected. When you know, Numbani A is one of those points you can run a lot of multi-DPS looks on. The issue is sustaining it. Now Jester switches to the Winston.
Come over here.
That's right. Oh, Anna versus Widow battle. Oh, Corey hit with the grenade in the end.
Oh, they can't quite get the elimination onto Fedoshin either.
Not quite. Oh, they get now. Sleepy, yeah. Well, biotic grenade kills all around then, I guess.
My
Grenade kills for all, but this payload's moving. Plenty of time here for the Justice. We talked about their struggles on attack, where, well, it's looked a lot better today. So this time, Corey with the Infrasight is going to make some space here while they wait for some changes here for the Spitfire. Spitfire just changed Prophet over to the Sombra, so late swap. A lot of indecision from the Spitfire.
Yeah, Gesture built a little bit of charge on his Primal Rage, but not a lot yet after his recent swap. London's got to get aggressive, though. They got to do something here. That payload was stopped for a moment. It is moving now as they get aggressive. Gesture, low health.
They force bubble, so they know they kind of go in right now.
There's the barrage, that's right. Bird Ring getting hit by that one. He gets the nano boost.
He's dancing.
He gets the nano
He's
boost.
dancing. Oh my!
Fedoshin gave him the nano boost and he used it to stay alive for the moment. Unfortunately, the DDR was impressive, but Washington.
Yeah, it doesn't actually stop the payload here just yet.
Yeah, that payload's still moving. Oh, and Corey finds another one onto Prophet. No translocating out of that one. 0.23 meters to go in point B, and Washington should be able to finish it up right about now. City's Fury's gone. Goodbye. And there's point B. So quick point B taken, 5.5 minutes for the Justice to finish this attack run.
I mean, Spitfire have no idea what they're doing right now, and classically,
like
one of the problems of London, even last year, was that they adapt very poorly in-game. And I don't know why they started out running the Reinhardt just to switch to the Winston. It seemed obvious what the Justice were going to do, and now the Spitfire have set themselves so far behind in ult economy that you're looking at a 5-minute C-hold.
All right, Otto and Corey, I was about to say, it's going to need to be a big self-destruct for them to turn it around, and it was. 2 kills out of that one for Fury. So Spitfire, finally, take a break and get something structured here for the defense.
Yeah, Justice, though, they can swap over. Now they're going to have the EMP, same thing with Prophet, but a chance for them to win the EMP fight right now and push it in with just an insanely fast time here on Numbani. Prophet looks like he's going to play aggressively. He knows that he can't let the Justice get the first EMP here, especially with Fury just switching to the Zarya as well.
Prophet lurking. There's the EMP. Fury picks up Sansom, though. That EMP not working out as well for Justice, and now Prophet throws his own into the fray, and easy win for the Justice there.
Probably didn't even need to use that EMP, honestly.
I don't think so.
Went down. Washington was already beating a hasty retreat.
Yeah. Just wanted to make it memorable. Give them something to think about in the back of spawn. Unfortunately, that thing is, hey, they're not going to have EMP on our next push.
Prophet playing with fire a little bit right there. Nearly got shield bashed, but it's all right. So Justice going to be coming in with a nano boost right now. Virtually no chance to really get any of their ultimate charge online. So important for the Spitfire to win that one. There's the nano.
Just boosted, he's coming in. Getting a kill already. On the sleep, he's not going to stop there. Goodbye, Sansom, and Washington Justice on the retreat one more time. But yeah, like you said, all they had was their own nano boost. I'm actually surprised they used their nano boost in that fight. I mean, you don't have anything else. Don't you just want to eco push and build a bit more?
I mean, yeah, you can force them to use the ultimates there, right? But, you know, nano's something that's going to build fast anyway, so I don't think it's the biggest steal in the world for the Justice. Might as well see if you can turn it with a nano boost of your own, because they're playing from behind. The winner of that fight with the 2 EMPs was so important because the winner was going to get more ult charge on the rest of their non-EMP ults. And now London pretty far ahead in that category, so they're in a position where they can play, as long as they have a conservative ult economy, they can win for a few minutes here.
All right, Shatter's going to be coming in a second. Giannis really needs to make sure he doesn't get out of position there and leave Gesture open.
Bright spot here is Corey is still ahead in terms of that EMP. He's got it now.
Yeah, and he's going to use it too. London lose 4 people to or they get hacked anyway by 4 people. Luckily, Buttermain there with the sound barrier, and that kind of stalls the attack out for Washington. Now the grab comes in from the Spitfire.
Nice shatter.
Giannis had a good shatter there. Gesture got the nano boost, so that probably saved his life. And now Washington backing away, deciding they don't want to keep fighting this one. Or maybe they do. They've lured Burnt Ring into the grab. That's a kill there. Shatter comes in from Gesture, but it doesn't hit a whole lot of people. Sleepy pops that nano boost. Giannis down anyway, though, and Washington struggling to push this one over the line.
Yeah, now they've got the EMP too. So Spitfire had to use a lot right there. I do like the grab. If that shatter had been blocked, then I think that would have been a different fight, because there was no sound barrier or a nano boost to keep the Spitfire up, right? And they don't have a Diva to self-destruct, to throw it in, and to counteract an enemy Graviton Surge.
Pretty much. Here comes Prophet with another EMP. He's going to use it right off the bat. Sleepy Arc and Auto escape it, though Arc uses the sound barrier. Now Prophet having to back off as Washington pushes forward. Giannis hacked, Sleepy sleeping. Sounds like that should be normal, but it's not in this situation.
Another grab coming up here. Watch Corey's EMP and Fury's grab. These are the important ults right now.
Yeah. And Washington with just a minute left, they really got to get something going here. Maybe Corey's EMP can do it. EMP comes in, but Ocean uses the nano boost onto Gesture anyway. Can they finish him off? Otto's doing a lot of damage on that Zarya right now, actually. That pushes him back. But yeah, the grab for London might make the difference. Sansom down, that's a big Earth Strike, or Fire Strike rather for everybody. And London's gonna just be able to push.
Yeah, really, really close. They were lucky they were able to just disengage off of the EMP. So Spitfire there, pulling back at the right time. Bedosian was able to heal up Gesture even though he got low, and he pre-nano boosted him. So that opened up the opportunity here. And now Spitfire have held for about 5 minutes so far on C alone.
Yeah. Since Washington's last attack.
Yeah, Prophet gonna get a little bit faster here on the EMP.
Yeah, they gotta win this one.
Yeah, forces the translocate too, so Corey not gonna have that opportunity to build it up as fast as he would like. 10 seconds left. They're trying to build this EMP, but they're just not gonna get it fast enough, I don't think.
I mean, no, Prophet's gonna just
They have
probably
to touch.
preemptively EMP to do something, and
They have to touch.
they do.
They have to, okay, here we go.
Janus is there, but here comes the EMP. All right, waiting for people to leave the room. Prophet,
Let's do it.
has it right now.
Oh,
no! The EMP from Corey, it hit him right before it came out. Are you kidding me? Washington with a chance here, but they gotta stay on the payload. Prophet gestured down, and now the grab comes in. They can't get there. Luckily, Arc finally moves forward.
It's three
and
branch
there's the
shatter.
The shatter from Janus. And everything going wrong for the London Spitfire. That payload is nearly there, but Doshin and Prophet stall it out at the end, but Fury already down. Can they handle the respawns? Can Washington Justice actually finish this one?
Mana boost onto Prophet,
Oh,
trying
man,
to
he
stall
got
out,
that
stay
too.
alive.
Yeah, gesture down. Prophet, big trouble here. And I don't think they have it. I don't think London can stop this. They're losing too many people, that's it. Wow.
Wow.
Prophet just waiting a little bit too long, and Corey got the EMP first. What an ending. What an ending to that round.
I mean, look at these inches that the Justice getting that sound barrier off on Paris, and now that EMP that it didn't look like it was going to come through in time, but the hesitation from Prophet, he's laughing, he knows it.
Well, London goes on the attack in just a moment.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Apagando las luces. Apagando las luces. Огонь по готовности. Огонь по готовности.
You know, what makes this match really crazy, Monty, is that these teams are both being so hesitant to pull the trigger in a lot of these fights. Like, as a caster, you get ready to, like, call something like you normally would in a fight. Like, this is the time you EMP, this is the time you do this. And these teams are just doing these little delays that are kind of undermining themselves. We've seen Washington suffer for it. Now we see London suffer for it.
It's definitely weird. It's a weird match. Teams look kind of uncertain about what they're doing, as you say.
Yeah.
That last fight, I thought they were waiting for sound barrier potentially, but it never came through. Let's take a look at that last shatter here from Janus. So first off, takes Gesture for a ride, finishes him off, and then he has to counter in. I mean, he sees the bubbles down on Fury, so there's a lot of damage that can come through onto him, and they're able to catch all three with no barriers.
You know, going back,
no Reinhardt to block it.
Going back and watching the beginning of that last fight, it seemed like Prophet was almost waiting for Arc to come around the corner on the Lucio so he could make sure to catch him too. But, because otherwise, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why you'd wait that long. Either way, London Spitfire did hold them to no time. So Washington doesn't have any time in the time bank. So if London can finish and keep a time bank themselves, they'll still be in a good position to win this map.
And look at this. Prophet is no longer allowed to play Sombra after that. After that play.
Nobody is, in fact, on London. They're just like, no,
just scouting.
We're done.
Yeah, just scouting right now. They want to go for the Rhine 3-3. That's what they're going to see on the defense. So no Sombra this time for Sansam.
You know, you'd think someone named Prophet would know in the right time to EMP with me.
So now, gonna come in, mirror compositions. As we start on Numbani, Spitfire not taking any risks, not going with any of the ball strats that we saw from yesterday.
Oh man, Yanni's so low already, they
right.
just jump right on him, and this is the exact situation that you don't want to see if you're a Washington Justice fan. You don't want to see your team trying to play 3-3 against anybody else, basically. Anybody else's 3-3, because this is what happens.
Yes, this is the disaster situation. I think Justice looked better, as we said, starting the match, not trying to play the 3-3 mirror. London should be trying to encourage it. Prophet going to pump up the crowd there on the payload, and they will take a fast A, but remember, they still have to make it through the whole map. However, if they do with more than a minute remaining, Justice will get no more time for a second attack. So we could see another draw, potentially, which would leave us in a situation where we could go to map 5 with a Spitfire win on Escort, which would be weird. I'm not sure that's actually ever happened.
I don't know if we've ever had 2 draws in one map. I'm trying to think if we have now, but no.
That goes to map 5 specifically.
Yeah, that too. I don't know. All right, Transcendence comes in. Ado gets a kill on the bird ring that barely saved Gesture with that Zenyatta ultimate, actually. Back to the old school 3-3 again as Washington pushes forward. Now they're caught in the grab. Shatter comes in though, and yeah, London just gonna throw everything they've got at him and win that fight, keep the payload rolling. A little bit of a delay for Washington, but not much. They will have some ultimates for the next fight though.
And that's a mistake from the Justice. They played right into Prophet's Graviton Surge because they used the Transcendence very early on in that fight. They didn't have sound barrier.
Yeah.
Even though they got the first elimination, they got super greedy. So Prophet, he just walked up on them and chucked the grab at their feet. And then they have the Zarya and the extra damage with no defensive ultimates from the Justice there. That was it's definitely not the way you want to play that scenario. You want to back off and get them to respawn. Instead, you gave them a lot of payload movement.
Yep. All right, they're going to jump down pretty aggressively on the point right now, just trying to take some more time off the bank before the end of B. Engage with the self-destruct on both sides. Sansum trying to get away. Oh, Gesture and Sleepy both caught. London losing their tank. That's big. They're going to lose Bird Ring as well. So despite Zenyatta going down, Washington actually getting the picks they need to hold the point for a little bit longer.
Yeah, both teams using the tools they had. In this case, both self-destructs after that last team fight. And you know, right now, Fury going to get team back at the end of things as well. That stagger is going to hurt.
That's huge. Yeah, you force him to jump off the edge. It's going to make the respawn take even longer.
Well, he's probably just going to go and swap off and swap on again because he had no charge.
Yeah, I suppose. That's true. He didn't have much
because he just used the self-destruct. So
Billy
yeah, that's what he's going to do.
What? Maybe that's where they want to go. You know, they want to go to Philly. They want to go to the grand
There you
finals.
go. There you go.
He's reminding himself. That's what it's all about. Yep. Reminding himself we beat in the grand finals last year too. But I think it's going to be hard to get there if you can't beat Washington Justice. That said, Washington looking okay right now. All right, grab comes in from London. Grab now on the Washington side as well. Bedosian flies in from above like a superhero with his own trance to keep people alive, and now Janu's down. Arc wasn't able to get there with the sound barrier time, yeah.
He was stunned. He was stunned by the Earth Shatter, so they couldn't counteract the re-engage. Quatermain also going to hold his, so London now, they'll take point B. 4 minutes, so less time than the Justice, but still plenty on the clock.
I like that neither team is actually going with the Sombra anymore at this point. They're like, all right, this isn't working out, guys. Let's try something different.
I'm surprised Washington isn't, honestly.
I think they should. I think Washington should, because again, their 3-3 just has not been able to match up to really anybody else's so far this season. I'd be surprised if it did right now. They've taken some time off, but still, yeah.
They're not really stopping the payload right now. It is going around this corner, just a poke game. Justice wants some more ultimates, but here's another situation where Justice has a pretty strong advantage. They can rally in. They can actually just rally in right now. Maybe they think Prophet has grab.
Get aggressive, man. Get in there. They're finally doing it. They're moving forward here, but no, Janus drops back again.
It's still, you're making space. You're forcing them into the corner.
Yep.
It's all a positioning battle right now, and they're coming up on 5 ultimates. So Justice uses that rally to buy some more time on ult charge.
I mean, are you giving London too much time, though? We'll see as the ultimates come in now. There's a shatter. Sound barrier for Justice. Keeps everybody up. Oh, Transcendence taken out of the fight. No, Bedosian comes back in anyway. Didn't die for that. Gesture gets a kill onto Otto. London giving themselves a great opportunity to actually finish with a good amount of time in the bank and maybe win this map a little bit later.
Yeah, they're going to hit the sound barrier later as well. This is where they should close. Booped away is Corey.
Yep.
And that means London will finish.
All right, we're going to go to Time Bank in London with a real chance to tie up this series. And we're back. 2:32 is the time bank for the London Spitfire. Washington Justice has 0 right now. They finished their push in overtime, which means the London Spitfire, once again, in a position where they only need the first tick on the point to win the map. That said, we saw a draw on Paris. We could see it again right here.
And I hope they scout Doa, because you know what London can do is they can play a 3 DPS comp against the Reinhardt 3-3.
Yeah, do they need to, though? I mean, think about how fast they took point A last time.
It isn't always going to work that way, though, and if you lose that first fight, then you can get snowballed against you in a mirror for 2.5 minutes. So maybe they do one push, and if it starts looking that way, they make a change. But again, they're going to blind push into this one.
Well, they saw the diva. At least that's something. Oh, Corey, a lot of damage on Giannis again. They tried the same play. This time Washington weathering it a little bit better. Good amount of damage onto Corey, though, as he drops down. Washington taking the low ground now.
See if Sansam can knock somebody up. They're actually just going to drop onto the point, knowing they only need that one tick. Here we go.
Giannis going forward. Sansam needs to get aggressive because they know they don't have that Zarya shield. Sleepy down. There goes Giannis, and that is it. That's the map. London Spitfire, unless there's a total catastrophe, are going to be able to take it right here and tie up the series, and they will.
There
London
you go.
Spitfire, a win on Numbani, and map 4 will be where it's all decided, and we are tied up.
All the marbles here in map 4. No chance of hitting that map 5. I thought we might, though. The double draw into map 5 has never happened before in the Overwatch League. It will not happen today either.
Nope, guess not. Quick break, and when we come back, the final map.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Огонь по готовности. I claim this objective. Stand with me.
Well, here we go. London Spitfire winning on Numbani, put themselves in a position to take the series, but Justice in the same position. Whoever wins this next map is going to win it all. And I was looking at that last, during the break, I was looking at that last push onto point A from London, and it's interesting because it seems like they know, as I think a lot of teams have figured out, that if you put a ton of damage onto Giannis, he's going to get that Zarya shield early. And for some reason, it feels like Sansum kind of tends to play a little bit farther away from the Reinhardt than we see some other teams do, so he's not really there to defense matrix and soak any of the extra damage onto the main tank. And that seems like it makes it easy to kill Giannis. I'll have to watch more pushes there, but I feel like London's kind of figured that out. In the 3-3 mirror, at least, you can pressure Giannis down nearly every time.
Well, the other argument is that having the Zenyatta really helps you pressure Giannis, right? Because you can potentially get the Discord Orb onto him and force that pick onto the front line. But because London, and I know we looked at this in Watchpoint, but because London is almost exclusively playing Ana right now, with the exception of that last map, might be part of the issue.
Yeah. Whenever Sombra uses that translocator, I feel like she's saying retail aggression. And I'm like, what
It's Black Friday already.
I guess, yeah. Retail aggression. Get those sales. Well, London Spitfire on the defense, Washington Justice on the attack. We'll see what they can do here on our final map. This is it. Everything on the line. Washington in one of the better positions they've been in, frankly, during the season and get a win. Over one of the better teams.
Yeah, Corey back on the Sombra as well. So
Good.
Sombra duels between Corey and Prophet. This is definitely what's been more successful for them, I say, is they're lit up purple.
Hey,
by the Biotic Grenade.
I still think even if they lose this map, I would rather see them try something other than the 3-3 into another team.
I think Washington fans would like to see that too. Yeah.
Hey, look at the Houston Outlaws. They made some changes, and guess what? It's working out a lot better for them.
We can't talk about that, though.
I know. That's why I'm talking about it. Sleep Dart onto Gesture as Washington continues to get in position to push forward here. They're not able to take him out, though. Off a little bit low here. The payload trying to be pushed through that choke. And Washington, again, just a little bit hesitant. They're going to go around on the high ground, still waiting for Corey to get that EMP, but Prophet's way ahead right now in percentage.
Yeah, Prophet being far ahead is important right now. Justice, they can't get a flank and they need to make space. So they're going to use that nano boost early. They can use the nano onto Giannis to create some room here. They get bio-grenaded again, though.
Yeah, right. Prophet trying to chase down Corey here. He was pushing the payload a little bit.
Jester hacked and ejected from the choke point during the nano boost, so Justice are able to counteract that.
Yeah, that kind of just uses up the nano boost for London. That's something.
Yeah, Corey's going to match the EMP shortly now, and that's when they're going to start to push this payload in earnest.
Yeah.
You can see London already thinks they have it. That's why Quatamane is on the side. Try not to get hit by it right now. Prophet. There we go.
All right,
only going to hit one.
Gesture. Oh no, and a 5-man EMP on the other side from London. I don't know. That was
They're
a
gonna
rough
win.
EMP. Yeah, I mean they had the grab onto Washington, but they couldn't follow it up.
Yeah, they couldn't follow it up at all. Jester died too early in that engagement. So in spite of the fact that they get the one EMP, sometimes that's enough.
This is a weird match.
Because, you know, if that's the hack guy and he's too far forward, if Jester's too far forward, if you pick him off, and then you force Fury to use the Graviton Surge as well, you are sitting pretty if you're the Justice.
Hey, and I mean, you're even happier too because now you come into point B with a lot of ultimates too.
Yeah, you're still gonna hold on to that grab. No diva on the other side, you can just chuck it right in there.
Yep.
Here we go.
Oh, Gesture might go down anyway. They're gonna try to burn through it. Looks like they will. Nice charge from Giannis to finish him off. Now it's just Fury and Birdring get a little bit caught out of position here.
What are you gonna do about that? Nothing really you can do.
Yeah.
If you're the Spitfire. Another sleep dart.
Whoa, what? All right, we're moving at right angles now, but it works out for Giannis anyway. That was interesting.
Prophet's still dancing on the card, so they're not actually getting payload progress right now, which is nice for the Spitfire.
That's good. It buys some time while everybody respawns.
Yeah. Washington now going to take the high ground. They are going to be playing into 5 ults, though.
Yep.
This could be a little bit of a slowdown. We'll see if Corey can get another good EMP. Turned out that last EMP did work for them.
Yeah. Giannis, a real chance to 360 Earth Shatter off of this high ground.
As always, what we want to see.
Yep, that's right. I've still been waiting for it. Nobody's shown me it yet.
Except for Bumper.
Has he actually done
Yes.
360
Yes.
All right.
I saw him do it on Horizon.
Beautiful. Anyone can. You are brave enough to try, though. Tons of ultimates for both teams right now. But Fury has that grab, which might make the big difference. There's the EMP.
Good sound barrier.
Yeah, sound barrier counteracts a bit of that.
Also, eliminates the threat of the shatter that was dropped by Gesture. EMP on the other side.
Yeah, that's right, but Prophet gets a kill on the Sansom anyway. As the grab comes in, Giannis is going to go down too. That nano boost onto Gesture, helping him do so much damage, just swinging through that grab, and Justice stopped cold with 2 minutes remaining.
Spitfire had the sound barrier later, so even though the EMP came in, we saw we saw the Graviton Surge come in as well as they tried to capitalize on that EMP, but it actually stuck them right next to Gesture, who was able to swing away with the protection of the sound barrier.
But Doshin's done a good job, too, of getting the nano boost onto Gesture right as the EMP is about to come in. Fury taking a nap real quick, but doesn't really end up making a big difference.
Sleepy's nailed a lot of darts.
Yeah.
A lot of darts. Living up to his name this match.
Then they call him Sleeper, though.
Oh, okay.
If he's a sleepy, he's the one getting it. He has been impacted.
That's true.
High ground push from Washington now.
Prophet coming up on another EMP, so
there's
Washington has to get value out of this grab, and they're going to get great value.
Ooh, that works out. Otto was doing a lot of damage there, too.
Shatter's such a threat now.
Yep. I mean, London knows it. They have to back away. They got to respect this Earth Shatter opportunity.
Yeah, they definitely know it, and they don't respect it.
I mean, at some point, too, you can also call just to die on the payload and try to delay a little bit, but that's going to be point B taken by Washington.
No split spawn eliminations, looks like, as Gesture can bunny hop backwards behind that barrier.
Yep.
Not going to give him a chance to get the sleep dart in. Fury careful to stay behind, but
got to be hard on Reinhardt's knees, you know? he's an older gentleman. It's got to be tough to just keep hopping. Maybe that armor helps with that.
Yeah, we don't know how much of that armor is actually doing the work, right?
It's got some very cushy shoes in there, you know?
I just think it interfaces with his brain, so it just works as like an exoskeleton without his muscles moving.
Oh, that could be too. Oh, nano boost on a Gesture again as he gets hacked. Corey still has the EMP though. There it is. Comes in and a great bio grenade onto Fury and Gesture at the same time too.
Sleepy has been great this match.
No kidding.
You really have to hand it to him.
Oh, Sansom sleeping. It's okay.
Not gonna get any more.
You earned it.
Exit kills on that one, but you know what? The payload's nearly there. They're gonna have a chance here to try and contest this payload, but they gotta get somebody out there, and there's a lot of booping pressure gonna come in. Gesture nearly dies on the approach.
Now you had that Zarya shield just at the nick of time to keep alive. Now they gotta survive the grab on the Washington side. They've got their own. Everyone just kind of chilling out in the grab. The Shatters both blocked. Quartermain down though, and if Washington can heal up and go back in, Janus weathers the biotic grenade.
Arc has the sound barrier.
Yeah, they gotta get aggressive with it though. Gotta go in right now. Sansom down, they hacked him and took him out. Where is Arc? Gesture's dead, but they can't really push. They've lost too many people. Nano boost onto Fury to seal the deal here. 1 minute remaining, and Washington gonna hold on to the sound barrier and push with it later, I guess.
Yeah, but the thing is, both teams are gonna have EMP most likely on this next attack. The nano boost helps Fury charge up his Graviton Surge just a little bit faster.
Yeah.
So again, we're gonna see similar ults online. EMP, sound barrier.
Oh, Prophet!
Oh no!
Got caught. Spotted him.
He will manage to respawn by the time they get there, and it actually means his EMP is going to be online.
I mean, they really just gave him like a quick taxi back to his team more than anything.
And he's just coming out of spawn now. And speaking of the taxi, there's not a Lucio there.
All right, Corey goes down, but they get Gesture. It might be worth it. Now the sound barrier comes in from Arc. They got to get on the payload, though. 20 seconds remaining.
Fury?
Fury's down. This is it. This is the go button for Justice.
That taxi really hurt them. The Lucio wasn't in position to sound barrier the EMP for London.
I don't think they're going to be able to get it before overtime, too. That's another thing to think about here. If they finish, it's going to be with no time in the time bank. Quartermain down. There's a shatter under the payload, but it doesn't hit anybody. They grab people away, but it's close enough to still delay. And now the shatter from Gesture. Janus walks forward.
They can't get the elims, and finally Sleepy goes down, but is it enough?
That was close, man. They should be able to kill Fury and finish this one off, but London making them work for it. Quartermain and Prophet, the only ones remaining. That is it. There's the push completed. Washington Justice does it in overtime.
So Prophet dying there really made a difference because they sent Quartermain back to taxi him with the speed aura, and because of that, the Justice were heads up enough to make a play by using the EMP aggressively. Prophet wasn't there to counter EMP, and neither was Quartermain to provide the sound barrier in time. Right. So that actually did end up mattering. It was really just a a few seconds. But the right play there was for Quartermain to stay and to wait for Prophet to come back with the EMP. So London makes a small error, but it proves to be one that ultimately allows the Justice to cap the point.
Now it comes down to that Washington Justice defense. London Spitfire has been able to overcome it pretty consistently. The only place they really got kind of stalled out was on Paris. No point to take this time. You just got to push the payload.
Ready for battle.
You got to push it past the Museo de Historia de Dorado.
That was pretty all right, though.
Is that okay? All right. I have to practice my bad pronunciation.
That's what Doa does. He practices how to pronounce things incorrectly.
I mean, if anyone's watched my casting over the last couple of years, they know that's... Yeah. Spitfire, we'll see if they go with this DPS look. Whoa, niveles desynchronization del nucleo. That sounds dangerous. I don't want to press the wrong button there. That looked like the most complicated game of Dance Dance Revolution in the entire world right there. I could not do that. I could play on heavy back in the day, but that one looked like a bit too much for me. Are they prepared? You be the judge. Actually, we'll be the judge. And Monty will judge most of all.
As usual.
Yep.
So they're going for the Widow, Sombra, and Pharah composition. They're going to see that it's a Reinhardt, so they might be feeling confident about this one.
Yep.
And they're going to get some really decent shots into Sansam here to start things off, but he does get healed up quickly.
Yeah.
Auto! Forward.
Down already. Washington Justice gonna have to give a lot of ground here. And now Fury getting the back lines. He's already getting so close to a barrage too.
Yeah, he felt comfortable because Sleepy was hacked there. Hacked now off of Sleepy.
Yeah.
So he can't play quite so close anymore. Unless he's gonna barrage in the room. Who knows, Doa?
Yeah, you never really know. He didn't quite have it there, but would not put it past him.
Stopping his payload right now, right? He's gonna lay some rockets down into the choke point. They are still stalling out the payload with the use of the Reinhardt barrier. Got to chip that one down.
Yep. Trying to separate some people with the concussive blast there.
Corey really struggling to get EMP charge. Finally able to hit a flank. Sansam the one who's going to pop out the door next, but it doesn't matter. He is eliminated.
Yep. As you get for peeking your head out there. Washington Justice just trapped. At least they're close enough to stop the payload. If they stay in their barrier, goes right through the shield and right through Giannis as well. Gesture, even though he was hit with the bio grenade, London not going to be stopped at all.
Fury just murdering everybody through point A, and that'll be a pretty fast take. Some zoning there, some delay from the Justice through the choke point by using the cover, and now
probably just go 3-3 after this.
Yeah, I think you're probably gonna play Winston. See what they do. Spitfire did play some weird heroes. They played Orisa through most of this point yesterday, but so did NYXL on both attack and defense.
Yeah, it was weird. That was a really interesting match.
It was weird.
Yeah. It was weird, but in a fun thing.
It almost seemed like they had somewhat of a gentleman's agreement just to continue to play Orisa on Dorado.
It's an odd agreement to make, but can't disagree. That payload is moving. Washington needs to start trying to stall that out at some point.
Corey finally with an EMP. Long delay there, but he does match Prophet. Prophet hasn't really had an opportunity to use this yet. Well, there's an opportunity coming, I think.
Yep. He likes to wait. He likes to build the suspense.
Detected?
There we go. Detected, but he still gets a good EMP off anyway. Giannis hit with that bio grenade too. And that's that great combo we've been seeing, where they've been pairing the EMP with the bio grenade. Prophet nearly dies, but he doesn't. Which means everything went just fine.
No ults now for the Spitfire. Corey, they've got one EMP here that they're going to use in the open at the end of this point. They're trying to set up for this one right now.
Yep.
How good is it going to be for Corey? Here it comes. He gets
done! They saw him coming in. What a play by Birdring. Heads up shield bash. That was sick.
Well, that's the end of that one, most likely.
Pretty much, yeah. That's point A, or B rather. He's got to swing through a few more people. That's B with nearly 5 minutes in the time bank. It's looking real good for Washington right now.
He flew too close to the bird ring.
He did.
That time around.
It's true.
He had a chance to drop down a little bit further above. He had a chance to translocate up higher. Instead, decides to drop down straight into a Brigitte. Not advised at the professional level. These guys have incredibly quick reflexes.
Yeah.
If you're not paying attention to that shield bash cooldown.
I wouldn't choose that as the place to pop out of stealth.
Nor would I. Bird ring ready.
Yep. Fury, all right, there's the grab after the sound barrier gets used. They're going to go in anyway. That was an EMP on Washington as well, so there's not much defense against this damage.
Nope, sure isn't. This is just going to be cleanup right now, knowing that they can finish off that Graviton Surge no matter what. Sleepy backed into a corner, slammed into the wall.
You know, it seems like a dangerous place to be throwing around a lot of ammunition in a power plant, but I guess the whole point of the map is to bring an EMP to the power plant and shut it down, so.
There you go. They're trying anyway.
You know,
does it really matter the damage
deal.
they're trying to do?
Not especially, no.
All right, so here we go. London Spitfire coming in again. EMP nearly there. This could be a tough fight for London.
Yeah,
They're trying to use the nano boost, hack onto Gesture.
That doesn't matter though. He's going to be doing so much damage though, but he gets caught in the grab. Fury really low, self-shields, lives, just barely.
And you can't grab there because you know the nano boost down.
Yeah, all right. And now Corey comes in with the hack. The EMP hit 3. And Fury does go down, so they do get a kill at the end of that. And that's going to push London back a bit. Still 3 minutes in the time bank though for London.
And you expected London to lose that fight.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when you use the Graviton Surge, one time you can't use it is if their tank line has the nano boost onto them, because what are you trying to do at that point? You're trying to get close to them to do damage. So you have two choices. You can either shoot into a Reinhardt shield, or you walk up onto them and you're going to get hit by the hammer above a nano boosted Rein. So you really have to wait for that ultimate, otherwise it's much more difficult to get value out of a Graviton Surge. And probably that comes from Otto just not having the same experience on Zarya generally.
It's time for another slow burn Prophet EMP. Building the suspense.
How slow is it going to be? How slow is the burn going to be this time, Doa?
When will he do it? It's like
he's going to let Corey get it again.
49 director's cut length right now.
Good positioning though, Justice. Not giving him a good angle. Yeah. So they're going to force them out eventually though. Here we go. Graviton Surge in onto Giannis. Sansam already down, so no, you need to use the EMP until they actually go after the cart.
All right, there it is. Now the EMP comes in as the defense is re-engaged by Washington. That was good timing, as it led to a quick kill against Giannis, and pretty much everybody else London decided to take down, and that should be about it. Yep, that's right. London finishes with a lot of time in the time bank.
That's right, but both teams going to get a chance to push here in time bank. London with a massive advantage.
Yep.
But Justice, they've been able to squeak out a draw and a win here so far, so can't count them out.
It all comes down to our time bank rounds right after this. And we're back. It's time bank time. That's right, 2:58 on the clock for London Spitfire. 1 minute for the Justice. So London, obviously, with nearly 3 times the time that Washington has. We've seen some crazy overtime pushes, but Washington is going to need to be the best they have ever been to beat London and win this match right here.
You know, they've come close before. As we were talking about at halftime there, they did push London to 5 maps after winning control in that first series. Obviously no 5th map today, but a lot closer than anyone expected, as the Justice are starting to flex their compositions a little bit more, and
it's good.
Seems like it's given them some additional strength.
Yeah, I think it's really good. Clearly it was another scenario where the 3-3 wasn't working, and they are looking better running the Sombra. Letting Corey kind of be unleashed. Okay. I just shouldn't say anything good about anybody because they just die. They just die when
Corey was so fixated on that hack that they just dropped down and stunned him.
Yep, pretty much. Yanu's killed by a sleep dart. Wow. I put him to sleep in the most literal fashion. Well, 18 seconds now for Washington. It looks like this push is not going to go very far unless they have a big team fight win in the next few seconds.
Yeah, it's also just going to be tricky because Prophet has such a big lead on that EMP now.
Yep.
Prophet out here right now trying to dual arc on the top of the building.
It's going to be OT from here on out. Arc.
EMP coming up for Prophet. He got so much charge from fighting Arc. What is Arc doing?
I don't know. He's just kind of like doing a little bit of
He just fed EMP charge.
Well, either way, now the EMP comes in onto Washington. Otto and Sansam down, and that could be the end of the push right there. I think maybe Arc was trying to displace him a little bit, but in the end, that's it. Washington with not a great push.
Prophet was just dancing on top of that building, getting Zarya bubbled, and then building about 40% of his ult charge. That was very strange. It was just basically a free EMP for Prophet.
Merry Christmas.
In June.
Yep.
It's all right. It's almost half Christmas.
Very half Christmas. Very 4.85 Christmas. Well, it's going to need to be probably the best hold we've ever seen on Diablo. Wrong Blizzard game. On Dorado.
There are Diablo pinatas on Dorado.
That is true. Maybe that's why I was thinking about it. But anyway, they're going to need a good hold. That's what I'm trying to say here.
What jerks. They just wrecked that marketplace.
No kidding.
I feel bad for those poor fish and vegetable and fruit vendors.
My produce. Sad. I mean, it wouldn't be an action movie without produce being destroyed, right? So.
Without ruining the lives of the civilians? Yeah.
That's right, yeah. Without collateral damage, you know.
Think about how much damage James Bond has caused.
I know, right? James Bond really
like trillions of dollars of damage.
It's okay, he's licensed. Sansa taking a spin on the Sombra this time around. All right. And Otto on the Hanzo. So Washington just going for a crazy DPS hardpoint, double sniper comp to just try to hold as long as they can. And looking for those picks, man.
Spitfire, they're putting all the eggs in the basket. They want this. They're going to play the Roadhog for the increased barrier damage that they're going to have, but they lose the first barrier fight.
All right, yeah, gesture a little bit low. Has to back away. That payload's still moving. Whoa, bird ring. Nice shot on a Sansum there. Yeah, that's going to be a Sombra that's not going to be really something to worry about for the rest of this round.
You got to drop now, Doa.
Yeah, you got to do it. That payload nearly there. Stop just a little bit. It's turning the corner. It's going to be the end of the series. Oh, they're going to grab Giannis and pull him in. That's it. A hook to end it all, and London gets the win in the end.
Well, they bounced back, Doa. It was an ugly series for the London Spitfire. It was a confusing series from the perspective of some of these team fights.
Yep. Yeah, that's how I feel about it too, Jeshua. That's about it. Yeah.
That's London Spitfire goes mild.
I mean, that shows you how they thought that match went too. I think that was the perfect gesture from Gesture to encapsulate our feelings about that match. That was it. Yeah.
Still credit to the Justice, though. It's nice to see them move to some other compositions where it looks like they can have some more success.
No, honestly, the Justice, I think, looking better than we've seen them look at any of the other matches on the stage, honestly, with that one.
Arc didn't die at all that map, surprisingly. It's another time where Arc is keeping his deaths to an all-time low.
He does like to stay back a bit.
He does.
That helps. I love Gesture, by the way.
Gesture is hilarious.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
That's right. Well, a win for the London Spitfire, and a win is a win, you know, and they've got the matches against the Valiant in San Francisco coming up, and they did need this one. In the meantime, let's throw it down to Danny, who's standing by with a winner's interview.
Thanks, guys. I am here with Fury from London Spitfire. Congratulations on your victory. Now, you guys are coming into today's match with a tough loss against NYXL yesterday. Fury, do you believe your loss yesterday against NYXL has affected your performance in the first half of today's match against Washington Justice? 어제 좀 아쉽게 뉴욕과의 경기에서 패배를 한 이후에 퓨리 선수가 보셨을 때 그 패배가 좀 오늘 경기 아무래도 전반전에 좀 어느 정도 영향을 미쳤다고 생각을 하시나요?
일단 저희가 뉴욕전의 경기 끝나고선 좀 많은 아쉬움보다는 그러니까 좀 미련이 없었고요. 그러니까 오늘 워싱턴전 초반에 좀 경기력이 저희가 좀 많이 별로였잖아요. 아마 오늘 좀 아침 이른 경기였고 선수들이 좀 잠을 못 자서 그렇지 않을까 합니다.
미련이 없다고 하신 게 혹시 좀 그래도 열심히 했다 이런 뜻이죠?
네, 저희가 좀 얼마 연습을 안 한 조합으로 뉴욕을 그렇게 상대를 해가지고 좀 괜찮은 경기였다고는 생각을 해서 좀 더 연습하고 다시 하면 뭐 파이널에서 붙으면 또 이길 수 있을 것 같습니다, 이번에.
Alrighty, for the NYXL match yesterday, we don't really regret losing it. I feel like London Spitfire, our whole team, played really well, and we're really proud of it because we haven't gotten a lot of practice with the DPS comps that we use against NYXL. So even though we lost, we're very proud of the outcome. And for against the Washington Justice today, I feel like it's because the matches were in the early time. It was early in the morning, so all of us were a little bit sleepy and a little bit tired. So that's why the first half didn't go the way we wanted. Alrighty, second question. You know, we saw you yesterday play a lot of Pharah, and which was very exciting to watch. But today you were, playing more of your main role, off tank, and also a lot of tanks. What's your reason behind that? 어제는 좀 재밌게 아까도 말씀하셨다시피 파라나 좀 이렇게 좀 딜러를 많이 쓰시는 모습을 보여주셨는데 오늘은 다시 또 탱커 위주로 좀 플레이를 많이 하신 것 같아요. 그에 대한 이유가 뭘까요?
일단 뉴욕이 좀 잘하는 팀이잖아요. 그리고 그냥 뭔가 생각을 해봤는데 저희끼리도 뉴욕 상대로 딜러를 하면 재밌지 않을까 해서 뉴욕을 조금 위에서 이제 다 죽이려는 생각으로 파라를 많이 했었고 오늘 워싱턴은 좀 뭔가 워싱턴이 이제 딜러 조합을 하면 이제 코레이 선수도 위도를 잘 쓰고도 하니까 그래서 좀 탱크를 많이 했던 것 같아요.
Alright, so for the New York match, I feel like I used Pharah because New York is one of a really good team for GOAT composition. So I used Pharah to sort of attack from high above to down below for New York. And for against Washington Justice, I used more tanks because they have players like Corey who are very good Widowmakers. So it would have been a harder match if I used a DPS comp. So I stuck with my main tank role. Alright, cool. Thank you so much, Fury. Back to you guys, casters.
Thank you, Danny. Well, there you go. It is tough to play Overwatch early in the morning, so I get that. Let's take a look at our Stage 3 standings. You can see Spitfire in 10th place at the moment. They do have a pretty solid chance, I think, to break into that top 8 if they can finish strong with their next 2 matches. Might be a little bit tough with San Francisco on the horizon, though, huh?
Yeah, that map differential, too, may come back to bite them. The fact that they lost 0-4 to the NYXL the first time, now they're sitting at only +2. You oftentimes need that 4-3 record and a decent map differential, so they've really got to sort of blow out the Valiant and then try and stem the bleeding against the Shock.
That's the plan. Well, let's take a look at our player of the match, brought to you by Omen by HP. It's going to be Fury. That's right. And in a weird match, I think it was a little bit more tricky to pick it today than it was other matches, but Fury, still had a solid day, and like I said, one of the best D.Va players out there,
Yeah, he is. I like the fact that we've seen his flexibility now, and also I do agree with him when he talks about that interview, obviously trying to play a little bit more of the tank role today because of Corey's threat on the Widowmaker, which is one of the threats that Washington Justice have that you need to nullify. Ends up working out. Definitely wasn't the prettiest match for anybody involved, but Fury comes out with the player of the match.
Yeah, that's right. And, at the end of the day, some of those matches aren't going to be the cleanest matches to play. But if you get the W in the end, that's the important thing, right?
Absolutely.
Well, that was our first series, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't go anywhere, though, because there's still 3 more matches of Overwatch League coming up today here on this Saturday. When we come back, it's going to be Atlanta Reign taking on the Philadelphia Fusion, so don't miss that. See you in a bit.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.